Hey, how's it going? If you're an experienced jumper and you pretty much have the basics down, you're past this video. But this video is for you guys that are still learning the jump. You're just not comfortable, you're not sure what you're doing, you don't want to jump, even easy doubles. And there's a good reason for that, because you're not sure what you're doing, so you don't feel confident, and you shouldn't, unless you can be real consistent with your jumps. And it's going to help you to learn and understand all the basics of jumping, which is in Volume 3, DVD number 6, the Motocross Basic Jumping Skills. But then I want to point out in this video the 4 most common mistakes that guys that are still learning the jump make. These 4 most common mistakes are not timing your takeoff, statue-like pose in the air, wrong body position for both takeoffs and landings, and not being on the throttle before you land. So let's start with the first one, when you're not timing your takeoff. Okay, what does not timing your takeoff, what does that mean? The most important part of the jump is where the bike compresses, and especially where it rebounds off of the jump, your takeoff part of the jump. So you want to have your timing through all of that. You're going to feel the compression, and then it depends what you want to do with the compression. If you want to help the compression and then help the rebound with your body movement by spiking your body weight into the foot pegs and lifting it, jumping out of the foot pegs as the bike rebounds. I refer to this as launching it. That's going to give you more height and distance. And of course, what you do with the throttle through all of that makes a big difference too. More details about that stuff in Volume 3, DVD number 6. But the timing for that compression and rebound, you feel it, you help it, you help the rebound. You feel the compression, you help the compression, and then you help the rebound. The opposite of that is absorbing it. So instead of helping the compression, you want to stay tall on the compression so you have body travel to absorb the rebound. And those are 2 real basic jumping techniques. And then with that goes all these other common mistakes that people can make. So not timing the compression and rebound, even if you're not trying to do anything, you're not trying to launch it, you're not trying to absorb it, there's still some timing there with your body movement and what you do with the throttle. Now, if you just have a real gradual, kind of a long slanted jump, you don't have to put much input in. Just hitting the jump and being basically in the central location, you're going to be fine off the jump. Doesn't really matter too much what you do, a real gradual, long face jump. But the shorter the jump is, the lower it is, and the steeper it is, especially steeper, you have to do some good timing with your body movement and feel the compression and rebound and work with that compression and rebound with your timing. For example, if your weight is back too far through the compression and rebound, and especially if you stay on the gas, your front end's going to come up real high. So if you're back here, yeah, you go off the jump, front end's going to go high. Now, if you're up here and you're off the throttle, you have a tendency to drop your front end. And again, the forgiving jumps that are real gradual and long, it's not so noticeable. But like I say, on the shorter, steeper ones, it's very noticeable. I did some examples with the longer ones because I could do the examples and not risk crashing. On the shorter, steeper ones, honestly, I didn't want to take the chance of doing the wrong ways because it could have wound up to be a big crash. And it was hard for me to shoot, even on the long ones, to make those mistakes and do it the wrong way. I really had to focus on it, and we had to do multiple takes before I could finally do it, because it's programmed into me of doing it the right way, and to do it the wrong way is really takes some effort. So I couldn't do it on the other ones, the steeper ones that you saw. Not the big mistakes. I wasn't going to like almost endo. You have to get Ronnie Mac to show you those kind of things. But another common mistake one is to have your knees way up and your butt way up. That's a common mistake. You're really not doing anything when you do that. But I see a lot of guys doing that. So when you're hitting the jump, you should be either on the balls of your feet or the arches of your feet, depending on what you're doing with the shifter or brake. And your knees should be straight up above the foot pegs. Not up here and not back here, but straight up above the foot pegs. And then hinge down at your waist a little bit, and your eyes should be right over the triple clamps. That's a central location. And then any movement forward or back from that is going to affect that pivot point of the bike, the central location, which is the bike's going to react to it. So timing that takeoff, especially the takeoff, along with the compression right before it, and having your body in the right position. So that's mistake number one. Learn to control your compression and rebound. And of course, when you're learning to do these jumps, practice on a real easy jump is very forgiving. So you can get the feeling of that compression, rebound, takeoff, and then landing. Compression, rebound, takeoff, landing, through repetition, easy jump. You get better at the easy jump, you go to a little bit more difficult jumps, till finally you can hit any jump any way you want to and control the compression and rebound, make the bike fly just how you want it, front end, either neutral, high, or low. Step number one. Okay, number two is that statue-like pose through the air. The guys that are doing this are usually the guys that have a white knuckle grip on the handle grips. They don't know what the bike's going to do, so they just send it, and then they hold on for dear life to see what happens. And if you get step number one down and you build your confidence gradually on easy jumps, you'll learn to relax your upper body. Your tension is in your legs, because that's where you're kind of squeezing the bike with your knees a little bit, and of course all your weight is when you're standing up. So you don't need to hold on real tight. You just need to hold on loosely, but don't let go. Just enough to move your body positioning and use the controls. It's like holding a bird. You don't want to crush it, but you don't want to let it go either. So don't be a statue. Learn to move in the air. Move your body. Be loose enough that you can move. And if it's an easy jump and you're not all sideways or anything, you don't have to move, well, just practice moving a little bit while you're in the air. Get control, movement and balance. Common jumping mistake number three, wrong body position for not only takeoff, but also for your landings. When you land on a downslope on the jump, it's real smooth, so it doesn't matter too much on how you land. You should land a tiny bit with the rear wheel first, or a tiny bit with the front wheel first, but you can land with both wheels at the same time. And it's always better if you're on the gas right before you land. We'll talk about that in step number 4. But when you land on that, I mean, that's not a big deal when you land on a downslope. It's so smooth. But when you land on flat ground off of a single jump, you land flat, it's much better to land with the rear wheel first. And while you're in the air, you want to be in the forward body position. And as you land with the rear wheel, you're going to be on the gas and rotate and row down and back. On the gas and row down and back. On the gas, row down and back. On the gas, row down and back. And that takes up the landing. First the back wheel comes down, and then by the time the front wheel comes down, you're rowing down and back, you're on the gas, you don't even feel the front wheel come down. It just kind of comes down. It's not hard at all. I mean, obviously you feel it a little bit, but it's not hard. If you stay in the back position and land, you feel everything. It's hard landing. If you're too far in the front position and you land, it's the same thing. You feel everything hit. So land with the rear wheel first and be on the gas on flat ground. Now if you're landing and you have to slow down right away, like you're landing into a corner, it's definitely better to land on the front wheel first and control the brakes as soon as you land. You're going to kind of be in the center of the bike, and then as you land you're going to hold yourself back with your legs and core and a little bit with your arms, because you don't want to go into the braking force. You're still braking. So you hold yourself back, control the brakes into the corner, and turn it. So being in the right body position and having the proper movement as you land is key to smooth landings. And then finally we'll go right into number 4, because it has to do with what we're just now talking about. Another common mistake is guys, when they land, they're going to wait and see what happens, so they're off the throttle. Well, if you do that and you case a jump and you're a little bit sideways, it's going to compress and then rebound, and when it rebounds it's going to swap you sideways the other way. So you definitely want to be on the gas before you land at all times. Even if it's perfectly straight, get on the throttle before you land. It's faster, it's much smoother, and it makes the bike go straight right away. The only exception, of course, is if you want to slow down as you're landing into a corner. So those are the 4 most common jumping mistakes for beginners. Get out there and practice and notice if you're making any of these mistakes. Now figure out how to correct them. And like I say, if you want more of the basic jumping stuff, Volume 3, video number 6, and also the number 2 vet video to develop your jumping confidence. Other basic techniques are in there for you guys. So don't be a squid, man. Look like a pro when you're jumping.